Welcome to Daily Dose Radio, a 5-minute devotional podcast studying the Psalms verse by verse. Broadcast from the ever-beautiful Sharonville, Ohio, on the sunny side of Cincinnati. Hey, welcome back to Daily Dose Radio. This is your home for responsibly handled Bible study. And it's organically sourced, too. So you know it's fresh and healthy. Well, today we're looking at verses 6 and 7, and I said yesterday there's a great change here in this particular psalm, in these two verses, because we don't have the first person imperfect. It just suddenly goes away. We have verbs that are imperfect, and we have verbs that are perfect here, but they're not the first person. And really, why that just screams out at me is because 22 times in this psalm we have either I, mine, my, me, or myself in the translation in English, 22 different times. And so the Hebrew is very specific here. It wants us to know that, this is a confessional song. It's a psalm of David he wrote to confess his devotion to the Lord. And he's making, a commitment. He's saying, I will not do certain things, and I will do certain things. And, of course, there's more will do's than will nots. Actually, 3 I will nots here. But overall, we have the majority of this is first person and it's positive. This is what I'm going to do. But here in verse 6 and 7, we still have the first person, but that first person imperfect verbiage is not present. Mine eyes shall be upon the faithful of the land, that they may dwell with me. He that walketh in a perfect way, he shall serve me. That's verse 6. He that worketh deceit, he shall not dwell within my house. He that telleth lies shall not tarry in my sight. So you see again, the psalmist is confessing and committing to something very important. Those verses 6 and 7. He's going to be looking out for the faithful of the land. He's going to be looking out for those that walk in a perfect way. And remember, he said up in verse 2, I will behave myself in a perfect way. So now, instead of companions that slander and have a high look and a proud heart, he's looking for the faithful. His eyes are looking for the faithful of the land so that they can dwell with him. He that walks in a perfect way shall serve me. So he's looking for people, that are going to be, living according to this same devotion that he's engaging in. And then in 7, he that worketh deceit shall not dwell within my house. Now, that's interesting because we have that exact phrase, within my house, up in, verse 2. I will walk within my house with a perfect heart. Then we come down to 7. He that worketh deceit shall not dwell within my house. He's making confession about how he's going to begin living his life. And then he says, and the person who's in my house that's walking in deceit, nope, not going to happen because I'm walking with a perfect heart. Then we talked about that word perfect yesterday. It means complete. All right, so also there's something else here in 6 and 7 that really just, I don't know, that maybe this is just me and maybe I'm just crazy, but I wonder if we could listen to 6 and 7 in the voice of the Lord. The psalmist in 1 through 5 has made a commitment, a confession, a rededication, you might want to call it that. And then in 6 and 7, could this be the Lord's voice? Mine eyes shall be upon the faithful of the land, that they may dwell with me, that he that walketh in a perfect way shall serve me. And so we're having repeated some of those same words that were used in the confession. He that worketh deceit shall not dwell in my house. What house is that? Well, we can go back to Psalm 23 and find out about the house. He that telleth lies shall not tarry in my sight. And we know that that's the case. The Lord doesn't allow that in his presence. So I wonder if perhaps we're hearing here in 6 and 7 the voice of the Lord responding to the call of the man who's making this commitment. So we have the call and the response, but the response in 6 and 7, perhaps this is the Lord speaking in response to what has been said. Now tomorrow we'll take up verse 8. In verse 8, we come back to the first person imperfect verb, I will early destroy. The conclusion of the psalm now in one verse in 8, and we'll talk about all that implication and what it means tomorrow, so I hope you'll join me then on Daily Dose Radio. Thanks for listening to Daily Dose Radio. I'm David Smith. The music today has been performed by the Bluegrass Experiment. Thanks again for listening. I'll see you next time on Daily Dose Radio.